Cosecha. Thank you very much to Cabo DC. Thanks to Cosecha for hosting us. Like I said, we are a family of immigrants with a dream. My brother would have loved to be here, but fortunately for us, Peru is playing El Salvador right now at Audi Field. They just told us that last week. So, given us that we are a small team, and such a big game that we had to split, and my brother had to go take care of about 20,000 people at RFK, and I had to come here and make sure he was well represented. First of all, I want to make sure that you guys know where we are. This is La Cosecha DC. It's a Latin market. This is a dream for us. We started a little food truck as two immigrants that came to Peru. And I'll get to La Cosecha at the end of my story. But my brother and I, we came to Washington, D.C., actually McLean, Virginia, when I was 14 and my brother was 12. We came from a town in Lima that it was a small peninsula, that it was 10 blocks, and when you go in, it's 2 blocks, then it goes up to 5, and just 1 block at the end. Not that many people there. When we wanted to hang out with a friend, we just went outside, we whistled at them, they'll come out, and then we'll keep going from house to house. So we had a group of 15, 20 friends hanging out, whether it was to play soccer, going surfing, just hanging out, trying not to get in trouble so my mother and my father wouldn't be mad at us. And then when we were at the prime of things, talk about a cultural shock, we moved to McLean, Virginia. Knowing very, very, very little English. Thankfully, we had an incredible family system, not only with my parents coming, but I had a couple uncles and aunts that took care under us and took us skiing. I have pictures of me going skiing in jeans, for example. But my brother and I went to McLean High School. We really enjoy assimilating a new culture. We were very proud Peruvians of being here and enjoying and representing our culture. That was for the first 6 months. And then we literally realized that we were here for good. That's when we started visiting our friends, our family, going to the beach, going to look for our friends, and trying to create a community here. My first friend in the US was from Iran. I met him the second day at school. We were both in the back of math class. He asked me if I knew what was going on, and we both shake our heads like, I don't even understand the teacher. 23 years later, we're still best friends. There's one thing about Peruvians and Iranians that we have in common. We're always late. Actually, I'm not late. He's always late. But he should be here. He told me he would be right here because he lives literally 5 minutes from here. But I'll embarrass him when he comes in. Same thing for the speech at my wedding. He was a little late as well. But who's counting? Anyways, back to our story. I started rowing here in the U.S. My dad rowed back in Peru. My dad's back there, by the way, with my mom and my 5-month-old daughter. Very supportive to this day. And my wife is right here videotaping me to make sure I can watch myself later and just see how great I am sometimes at public speaking. But anyways, they've always been there. So we were there in high school. That's where I started, playing football. I didn't know what football was. And then I started rowing. The sport of rowing for me was something that I adapted it in Peru. I wasn't really around rowing a lot. I liked surfing and sailing and hanging out at the beach better than rowing. But, after a bit of being here, I realized that I found a community. A lot of us are immigrants here. And the one thing that I keep telling people when they ask me, hey, what do you do? How do you do? I'm like, just find a community. Find some friends that you can really trust. They don't have to be, you don't have to be in the popular group with 20, 30 friends that you won't see after high school. But somebody that is gonna, stay with you throughout. So just to give you a little story, and I'm gonna go quick in this part. I graduated from high school. I got a full scholarship at the University of Washington in Seattle. I was lucky enough there to go to the best rowing program in the US. I was a top recruit in high school. because when I got into the team, it was like, well, there's nothing else going on. I have to be really good at something. So because I had a really good coach, I became really good at rowing. I went to the University of Washington. My brother ended up going to a Nova Community College. After the University of Washington, I got recruited by the U.S. rowing team without being a citizen. So that was a big of an issue there. Thankfully, by that time, I was a green card holder for about 5 years. And then I applied for my citizenship, and then I got to apply for my citizenship. I got my citizenship 2 days before the team left for the London World Championships in 2006. 2 weeks later, we were third in the world. So that was an experience for us, to me, that it taught me right there that if you really try to do something really, really good, are surrounded by people that believe in you, and you're very lucky, you'll get it. So that's another thing that I try to tell immigrants here. Not because they say the U.S. is a place where people think they're going to make their dreams come true. They're just not going to happen. And I try to be brutally honest with people. You have to work your hardest. After that, my brother became a captain in the Mediterranean, where he spent his 6 months out of the year sailing around the Mediterranean and cooking for a millionaire family. I got to visit him a couple times, and he did not have a tough work. He did not have a tough job. He had a great job where he got to see a beautiful area in the Mediterranean and meet great people. After that, I was lucky enough to go to the 2008 Olympics in Beijing with the rowing team, and the 2012 Olympics in London. After the 2012 London Olympics, I just came back here as amateur athlete. My brother came back from sailing around the Mediterranean, and we were thinking, what can we do something that is, him and I together. At first, we were all about, eating something healthy, salads and everything, but we didn't really have a passion about it. We wanted to bring something that is from our country, something that was bigger than us. My brother, since I can remember, was a great cook. He's not a chef by profession. He's just a person that is very lucky because he can cook great. And I benefit from it a lot. From waiting for him to wake up to make us breakfast, lunch and dinner. So after that, we decided to, in one of our many reunions, family reunions, where we can be 5 people or 20 people, my mother, thank God, or not thank God, told us, hey, well, how about a food truck? Don't go to a restaurant, don't go to a bar, don't go to a lounge, just start with the food truck, start small. We started our first food truck in 2013, April 12th of 2013. And I do remember that day now because it's the day that my daughter was born. I'm very happy about that. And we started with one food truck. Literally, I was the head coach at Georgetown University for rowing at that time, and my brother was a bartender at night. So we were literally working 2 jobs. And that's the other thing that I tell people with a dream. Not because you have a dream, it's going to come true right away. If you have to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 7 to 11, you got to do it. After that, the first year we had a food truck, we worked literally non-stop. The second year, we were lucky enough to realize that people like Peruvian food. That people couldn't find Peruvian food as easy as I thought would be. People miss their country a lot more than I thought people miss their country. So people kept coming, not only Peruvians, but we live in Washington, D.C., we're a melting pot. So just like us, we are curious to try other countries' food. People from other countries are curious to try our food. So the second year we opened our second food truck. The third year we opened the third food truck, and then we were like, wow, we gotta slow down a little bit and make sure we're doing everything right. We can't just run and not make sure that we don't trip. After the first 3 years, we moved to our catering location right now, which is our center of operation. It's great to see it, not say it now. It's our center of operation where we have our offices, our tasting room, our 4 food trucks run out of there. And after a while, after 7 years, I believe, since we've done a lot of nonprofit work and philanthropic work with the Embassy of Peru, the people from Edens, the people that own this building, went to different embassies and said, hey, who do you recommend to open a place at La Cosecha? We're creating this Latin market, this first ever Latin market. We are excited to talk with you guys and see if you guys recommend anybody. So they recommended us because they work with us, and we've given them a lot of, we've done a lot of partnerships. Let's just leave it at that. And we still do. We still do a relationship with the Embassy of Peru, the Consulate of Peru. It's been great, and we always try to keep growing it. So we, after 7 years of being in business, we were very excited. We opened La Cosecha. We took our first ever loan, because before that we didn't take any loans. We took our first loan, and we were like, okay, well, we can't really close for a month now and go to the beach in Peru. We have to keep working all year round. If you want a dream, you gotta chase it. That was February of 2020. A month later, the pandemic hit. We were out here passing flyers to construction workers, and thank God they saved us, because they had to eat. Construction never stopped. We gave them a deal to everybody that came in, and we survived. 2 years later, we're here, we're thriving. I hope that you guys get to try our food or our drinks. We're just down here. Next year, because of that, during the pandemic, we opened another place in Crystal City, which is now National Landing. We work with JBG Smith, which is the landlord for the new Amazon building, headquarters number 2 that is coming to National Landing. And they asked us if we want to open a much bigger place there. Of course, we say yes, and now we're in debt a lot more. If you want to dream, you have to be risky at times. And now that I have a family here, I'm setting my roots here, and I've been living here in the U.S. for longer than I've been living anywhere else in the world. You have to keep growing smart. Surround yourself with people that love you. Surround yourself with people that care for you. And make sure you keep believing in who you are and where you come from. And with that, they asked me not to take any questions, but any questions? Yes?
How do you work with your brother?
Oh, you have no idea. A lot of the reasons that I don't fight with my brother is because I know it will bring stress to my mother. So we try to keep it, we try to speak to each other a lot more. It's challenging a lot of the times, because a lot of the times he'll put more work than me. A lot of the times I'll put more work than him. But I know that when push comes to shove, he's there 1,000,000%. Like I said, right now he would love to be here and speaking with you guys. But he said, I gotta go grind, I gotta go make money. And as a small business owner, you have to do that. And I hope I represented him pretty good, because he's a damn good chef. And he runs anything from our huge catering menu to the new things that we're bringing to the restaurant here, to the food truck menu that we developed under his leadership when we first started the first food truck, to the new things that I'm going to expect from him for the new restaurant. And we will have a bar there too. And you were bragging about being a bartender and being so good at it. I'm going to expect that too. And yes, I am hard on him a little more than he's on me. But I know that I can only go as much as what he's wanting to do. And we're both hungry, and we both want to keep growing. And not only that, but being gastro diplomats for Peru. Yes.
Fantastic. I'm really happy you're here. We were one of the first people to kind of check it out when the Cosecha opened up. So I'm really happy you survived.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you balance your workplace commitments and your family commitments? Because it sounds like you're always busy, you're always expanding, and you're always growing. And that's got to be really hard on people around you as much as they love the story.
I bring him to work. It's very hard. It's very hard. My wife here, which is she's great. Thank you. We were dating when we first when we opened Peruvian Brothers #1. She was there the first day, and she's been great. She's a person that believed in Peru, believed in us, believed in me. She's married to me now. She has no choice. But it's been tough. It's been tough at times, because now we have a 5-month-old baby. Before it was like, okay, I'll be home at midnight. I'm gonna leave at 7 a.m. felt bad, but she understood. She's a hardworking individual. She knows what hard work is. Now it's a little trickier. Now it's like, okay, sorry. Now it's a little trickier because now it's like, how fast can I get my job done so I can go home and be with my child, be with my wife. We bought a little farm during COVID, which it was a great idea then because it's like, oh, we have all this, time to work on the farm. No, we don't. So it's like, find a weekend that we don't have to work, Saturday and Sunday to do all day. And honestly, you get used to a rhythm of things to where the point that you know that you have your hard season, spring, summer, and fall. I think winter's a little slower. So you get to balance as much as you can, and you make the times that you're there count more. So yeah, it's hard. Anyone else? Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Come on,